Hi everyone, back for another episode. This one I actually had a few suggestions to do, and I contacted someone on Tumblr, a guy that I'll leave the link to his blog down below, called I for Scotland. It's a nationalist Scottish blog, and they're fantastic. They have really good facts. They're snarky. They're funny. He's a funny guy, and he really is really great at getting information about the Scottish independence movement out there, especially with it heating up again after the referendum and after the Brexit referendum, which really sparked the second wave here of this desire for a Scottish independence. We're seeing a lot of stuff come back up. So one of the big reasons, a lot of people say one of the big reasons that Scotland remained in the European Union last time around is it was the vote that propelled them to stay were older people. The older crowd, baby boomers essentially, who were born at the height of British nationalism, the idea that we are British, not we are English or Scottish or Welsh or Northern Irish. So that was a huge difference, because a lot of these other people, the younger groups, people who are in their 30s or younger, they grew up under Margaret Thatcher, the Iron Lady, who really decimated Scottish industry. And some of the other ones, the youngest ones, are people who are growing up under David Cameron, or under the policies of Tony Blair, who, even though Labour, I prefer Labour over the Tories, they're not. Scottish Labour has kind of been garbage to Scotland. But they grew up under Tony Blair, David Cameron, and now under Theresa May, who is just ripping apart any semblance of British nationalism, because England is by far treated as the dominant group in the United Kingdom, and that's not how it's supposed to be. It's a union of nations, not England and its three bitches. It's not what it should be. So after the referendum, the Brexit one, Scotland was a little pissed, because one of the big reasons they declined to leave in 2014 was they were essentially being told, if you leave the European Union. You don't get to get in. We're not going to let you in. And so a lot of Scots who are very supportive of the European Union cast their votes to stay in, for essentially being blackmailed by England. And that's kind of fucked up that England would do that. But then England goes and leaves, even though Northern Ireland and Scotland voted to stay by pretty large margins too. England voted to leave, and England gets to decide what everyone else is, just because they're more populous. And so they're kind of screwing over Scotland here in this situation. And Scotland is noticeably, understandably pissed off about this, because they're pretty much saying, wait, we voted to stay because you said we could stay in the European Union, and now you just fucking leave. That's some bullshit. And so Scotland voted to have a second independence referendum, and Theresa May saying, nope, not happening. Fuck that. Theresa May, you fucking toad-faced bitch. Seriously. So Scotland is now organizing, preparing for a new referendum. And I honestly think it's probably going to pass this time around. And I want to be surprised, because they're mad. England's been treating Scotland like shit for a pretty goddamn long time. And so the anger felt in Scotland, I can understand it. I'm not from Scotland. I'm not. I'm an American. I was born and raised in Vermont. But I have family, ancestors, and living family still that live in Scotland. Pretty far removed, yeah, but they still live there. And I've always really felt that England has really taken advantage of its sister nations. Northern Ireland and Wales and Scotland combined, I think they have maybe 100 seats all combined, because I know Scotland's got like 50. England has something like 530 seats alone. So yeah, Wales, Scotland, and Northern Ireland, they technically have a little bit of power, but that don't fucking matter at all, because what it all comes down to is what England decides. And that's kind of bullshit for what's supposed to be a united kingdom. When really it just comes down to England says what's up and then fuck everyone else. And you're seeing that with the way Theresa May's acting. Scotland, First Minister Nicola Sturgeon was completely kind of shut out of the Brexit process, even though she's the First Minister of one of the 4 nations in the European Union, and United Kingdom. And then these other bullshit things that England's doing, the rape clause, which is essentially you have to fill this whole fucking shitload of paperwork to prove you've been raped if you want to get tax credits for any children you have more than 2 children. You're asking women to relive some of the most horrific parts of their life. And the Tories, they're acting like it's not a goddamn big deal, and it's horrific. How can you do shit like that? There's a Tory, a Conservative in Scotland. I believe her name is Ruth Davidson. And she has just been defending this rape clause. And I just don't understand how anyone can do it, let alone how any woman can do that, to defend this just disgusting piece of legislation. And then she's trying to cast the blame over on the Scottish National Party, the SNP. I'm like, how are you doing that? You're acting like it's their, like they have to deal with it, like they have to do shit. And it just doesn't make sense. Like the SNP has been working tirelessly to try to negate and weaken the blows that the Tory-dominated England has been doing. And there's only so much you can do. Scotland's got money, but they don't have that much. They can't deal with everything at once, especially when England, the much more populous England, is throwing this garbage at them. Not to mention, Scotland's got oil. And during the last referendum, England talking about, oh no, they're running out of oil. Don't do it. You don't have the oil anymore. It's going to run out. But now the referendum's over. They're talking, oh, there's plenty of oil. What the fuck are you talking about? So which one's true? I'm inclined to believe England's saying it's true about there being oil, and they were just fucking lying through their goddamn teeth in 2014. Scotland's got money. They've got oil. They can do shit. But when England is casting so much weight against them, there's only so much they can do. And Ruth Davidson, you are a cunt. An absolute bitch. Your party did this. The Conservatives, the Tories, the people who are leading the government in England, in Westminster, they are the majority party. They are the ones who passed this clause. They are the ones that passed this. And you're trying to blame the SNP. Now, the SNP is the government in Scotland. Them and the Greens have a majority government in Scotland. A coalition government, sorry. And the SNP has all but 1 seat from Scotland in Westminster. What the fuck are you talking about? The SNP is not able to do everything. I think they're doing great. Now, they haven't done perfect. There's a few things I think they could do better. But they're doing the best they can with the circumstances when the Conservatives and this weak-ass Labour is just fucking them over. I actually like Jeremy Corbyn. I like a lot of his policies. Is he perfect? No. Is Labour perfect? No. They have enough seats. They can at least form something of an opposition. And are they better than the Tories? Yeah. If I had a gun to my head and it was Labour or Tories, I'd vote Labour in a fucking heartbeat. But in Scotland, Labour hasn't done shit for you. And they act like they deserve your votes. And honestly, Scotland, you deserve better than this shit. England's been fucking you over forever. You're in like a 300-year arranged marriage, and England's treated you like shit pretty much the entire time, with a few little, oh, I'm sorry about that. Scottish independence movement is something I firmly believe in, and I was greatly disappointed when the referendum failed in 2014. I'm not from Scotland. I wouldn't become a Scottish citizen if they got independence. Probably not, at least. Maybe the way my country's going right now, I'd fly over there and say, please, take me. Please. But I have a special place in my heart for Scotland and for Ireland. And Scotland can do this. They provide more than they take. Population-wise, they actually provide a decent sum of money. They're a liberal, progressive country kind of kept under the boot of this conservative-dominated England. And they've really taken a stand on a lot of issues in which England's been too afraid to. Or at least, not too afraid to, too much of a little... I don't even know the word I'm looking for here. But Scotland is a country I think will do magnificently. Will there be some stumbling blocks? Yes, any country that becomes independent is going to have some problems in the beginning. But Scotland, I think you can do it. You have oil. If you leave, you can force the English to move the goddamn Trident missiles, sorry. And that's a huge financial burden off your back. You can decide what you want to do with your oil, not let England decide what to do with it, which they've been doing, essentially. Scotland, I wish you the best of luck in your referendum. I dearly hope you vote to detach yourself from the rapidly sinking ship that is the United Kingdom. And I'm glad I got to do this video because it's something that I care about. And honestly, I almost forgot to make a video about this. But I'm glad I did. Good luck, Scotland. I really do wish you the best.